It's Emily Kutchins, Adler, the Buttery babe, and it's starting to be cool out. It was only 70 today, but that means one thing. It's almost Thanksgiving, our favorite holiday of the year. This year, instead of doing a traditional stuffing, I'm going to make a napkin dumpling, which we ate a ton of in Vienna. It's basically a bread stuffing, and you cook it inside a napkin. It's going to be really fun and really easy. But my favorite part about the napkin dumplings is that you can take the leftovers and fry them up in butter with some scrambled eggs and caramelized onion, and it makes the best lunch ever. Oh my god, so good. So good. But for today, we'll make step one, the dumplings. Really just a few ingredients. It's super easy. This is half a pound, 8 ounces of old bread. Traditionally, you would use a Kaiser roll, but I made a lot of extra hollies this year, so it's holly. What I did is I cut it up into croutons, and you can let it air dry overnight, or I threw it into the oven for about half an hour. You don't necessarily want them brown, but you do want that crispity, crunchity. And then you can just break them up a little bit so that they're going to be easier to do. So just break them up a little. We'll get back to that. And also it's 8 ounces of stale bread, 2 eggs. This is a 1/4 cup of fresh herbs. Today I used parsley and a little bit of oregano, but you could just do parsley, you could do parsley and chive, you could throw in some thyme, kind of whatever you like. A tablespoon of chopped garlic. This is a large onion that I sauteed in 4 tablespoons of butter. Yes, that sounds like a lot, but remember, it's the 4 tablespoons of butter is for the onion, but it's also the moisture for the bread, so you do need that. And then it's a 1.25 cups of milk. You can use soy milk, almond milk, real milk is what I use, but any of those alternatives will work. And then we're going to season it with nutmeg, yay, salt, and pepper. So, let's start making some dumplings. The first thing, I'm just going to move that because I'm short. So remember our bread that we either let stale or put in the oven and dry out a little bit. Oh, one more step before we get ready. We've got a nice wide pot, and that's got plain water in it, and it's coming up to a simmer. If you don't have a pot that's that shape, you can use a regular pot too. It's not a big deal. It's just easier to fish it out when the pot is more shallow. Okay, so we're gonna just break up our little croutons. If you cut them smaller to start with, you don't have to do this step. But I was lazy yesterday when I was letting them get stale and cut them bigger. So now I gotta squish them up a little bit more, but nothing too big a deal. And then we're actually gonna get in there with our hands, so I'm shockingly going to take off my rings. I know it's a rare occasion. Off they go, so they don't get full of goo. So we have our bread, and that's just, this is a holly, as I said, but Kaiser rolls, any type of stale bread. And then you're going to pour the milk on there so it can start absorbing it. And then in go our onions. So this was 1 large onion, and I sauteed that in 4 tablespoons of delicious butter. Parsley. And today we put in some oregano, and that's already just chopped up, fresh from the garden, because parsley is pretty hardy. We've got a tablespoon of garlic minced up, 2 eggs, which I'm an old lady at heart, so I'm just going to crack them in the bowl to make sure they're okay. 1 and 2. Beautiful. Right over there. And then we're going to season that with fresh nutmeg, which I'm going to grate up on my little bitty grater. Fresh nutmeg is the best. It's going to add a little something special, but it's also very seasonal for the winter holidays, and used lots in German and Austrian food. And this, as I said, we had in Vienna last fall. And then it's going to get a very healthy pinch of salt because it's mostly bread. And of course, the pepper mill making its grand appearance for the summer. Lots of pepper for the season starting out for the summer. Okay, so now we're gonna get ourselves ready. So before we mix this all up, we're gonna get our workspace ready. So we have 3 pieces of twine. This is just kitchen twine. is a cotton string that I cut up. You can buy it in a little ball like this at the grocery store, the Target, the hardware store, anywhere online. And then a napkin. You really do want to use a white napkin. The first time I made these dumplings at home, I made them in a pink napkin. They tasted good, but they came out bright pink. So if you have a white napkin, use a white napkin. And that's just a cotton napkin. Okay, so now that that's set up, we're gonna take our very clean ringless hands and squish, squish, squish everything together. It's really fun. Get all messy, get to squish things together. So see how almost all that liquid's already been absorbed, and it's just been a minute while I'm talking. So the bread just sucks that up. If your mixture seems a little bit too squishy, you can sprinkle in some breadcrumbs, but it should be just fine. So squish everything together till it's combined. You want to make sure that seasoning gets mixed everywhere inside. It kind of makes a fun noise. Ready? Kind of fun. So you'll see that you've got some bigger chunks and then some that's nice and smooth from being squished. That's what's going to give it a really pleasing texture when it's all cooked together. So then we're going to take this and dump it onto our napkin without breaking the bowl. Dump. And then we're going to squish it more into a loaf shape. As I said, this is kind of fun and kind of messy. You just want to make it a loose loaf shape. And now I'm going to run over to the kitchen sink and wash my hands, and then we'll finish up. Be right back. My hands are washed and clean, and now we're ready to finish wrapping up our dumplings so we can poach them in the water. So it's a basic loaf shape right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my napkin and roll it over the dumpling, and then kind of, sorry, it's hard to do this with you can see, but kind of just squish them back in a little bit so it has a nicer shape, and then keep rolling. I do this on a cookie sheet just so that my counters stay a little bit cleaner. See, it's a nice compact shape, and I like to work with the seam up so I can see it, but that doesn't matter. Remember, we had our 3 pieces of string. So, you guys can see better. Starting at one end, it doesn't matter where. I'm just doing the one closest to my camera girl so you can get a better shot. Take your string, do a plain, regular knot. We're not doing anything crazy fancy. And then take the extra and just go around, back up to the front, and tie it in a knot. You could do a fancy cowboy knot or a Boy Scout knot. I don't know what they're called. I don't know how to do them. So we do that. It's basic. Let me show you again on the other side. And bring it together. Take our second piece of kitchen twine. This is the same string you would use if you were tying up a roast. So a plain knot. Wrap it all the way around. If you can, I might have cut it a little short. No, just right. And then regular old knot, like a brown paper package wrapped up in string. Yay! Now, see how he's a little bit pudgy in the middle? Just like me. We're going to take our third piece and make them a little bent. It's really just to keep the napkin shut so it doesn't open up while it's cooking. And this is just one regular knot. Or you can make a bow, but I was a little bit stingy with the string, so we're just going to get a knot. You know, this is not so exciting to watch, but we're almost done. Perfect. So, we're gonna put my rings back on and I'll show you how to poach it. We'll be right back. So, at the stove, And we've got a nice pot of water. And as I said, I like this one to be a little short and stout, so it's more the shape of the dumpling. If you only have a pasta pot, that's fine. They'll just kind of hang in there. So we're going to gently take our dumpling, and the water, as you can see, it's just at a simmer. Take our dumpling, lower him in the water, cover him up, and just let him be for about 40 minutes. You can check on it once in a while. If it's moved up to a boil, lower it. If it's not simmering at all, make it a little higher. You just want a nice gentle simmer for 40 minutes. That'll let the bread finish absorbing all the delicious seasonings and get nice and tender, and then the eggs will cook so that the dumpling is set. So that way you can slice it up when you're ready to serve. Hey, it's Emily Kutchins with the Buttery Babe, and it's been 40 minutes, so let's check on those delicious napkin dumplings. Now remember, he's been poaching in this big pot of plain water for 40 minutes, and look how beautiful and puffy he is. So excited. So I'm just going to take 2 slotted spoons and ease them under my napkin dumpling. He doesn't want to come out anyway because he's a brat. There we go. He's just the exact size of my pot. So we're going to take him out of the water and place him on a plate. And then we're going to let the napkin dumpling set for about 10 minutes, just so it can cool down and firm up a little bit, and then we'll unwrap him and slice him and be ready to serve for your holiday dinner. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Napkin dumpling has been resting out on our plate for about 10 minutes, and he's firmed up, still nice and warm. So what we're going to do is get ready to serve. Remember, we made these nice little knots, so we're just going to take a scissors and cut the string. And there's 3 pieces of strings. We want to make sure we take 3 pieces off. Not as important with the dumpling because we're going to unwrap it, but definitely if you've tied up a roast and you're going to slice it, make sure you remember how much is on there. You don't want any of your guests getting a mouthful of string. I think I need to take my kitchen shears to get sharpened. Luckily, we've got a knife. Boink. Okay. So 3 pieces went on, 3 pieces came off. I'm going to flip them over. We have the big reveal party. Just unroll. Keep going. Look at that. Hopefully your husband does the laundry, not you, because the towel is not that delicious looking. But the dumpling is. Yeah. So good. You're just going to take your knife and make kind of thick slices. And then they go right onto your serving platter. This is so good with roast turkey or goose, my husband's favorite, or beautiful roast beef, veal breast, of course our family favorite, brisket. It'll suck up the juices and be phenomenal. Any leftover slices, you can let them chill down and you can pan fry them tomorrow and they'll get crispity, crunchity. Sometimes actually we don't wait for them to be leftovers. We'll make these earlier in the day, and then pan fry them and serve them for dinner because we love that crunchiness. It's so good and it sucks up the gravy like a dream. I'm Emily Kutchins Adler, the Buttery Babe, here with a beautiful Viennese napkin dumpling that takes like no time at all to make. Enjoy and happy holidays.